Hey, what is going on, everybody? Jerma here with a Team Fortress 2 gameplay commentary. And tonight, gonna be playing as the Spy with the L'étranger, the Conniver's Kunai, and the Default Sapper, not the Rewind Weirdo one. Also using the Dead Ringer, going back to my favorite watch out of all three. But this video is going to talk about a couple things. First of all, it's going to talk about key bindings, and the reason why I'm bringing up key bindings in this video is because, very specifically, in about 10 seconds, I do something horrible. I actually open up the menu for the server, like the map info button, and it ruins my whole tier. I'm on the little tier right here. I get like 3, 4, maybe 5 kills in a row, and then it all goes to complete hell when I accidentally hit I instead of 9. I was trying to disguise as an enemy spy, and my fat fingers hit I instead of 9. And it really was horrible. See, right here, it's just, oh, here's the map info. And it gets me killed. And it really screwed up my routine. And that's why I want to bring up key bindings. And how it's really, really important to make your key bindings exactly how you want them right when you install a game. And also, the same thing can be said for sensitivity. I'm going to give you my sensitivity because I get this asked more often than not. What is my mouse sensitivity? I'll say that right off the bat. It is 3.56 in Team Fortress 2. Now, it changes from game to game. Now, what I have for sensitivity in TF2 is not going to be the same that I'm going to have in something like Call of Duty or something like Tribes. I always change my sensitivity in FPS games. But for TF2, it is 3.56. I tend to gravitate towards middle-of-the-road sensitivities. If it's not middle of the road, then it's going to be pretty low. Because, I mean, in FPS games at least, I move my hands around all the time like a freak show, so I gotta have it middle to low. Now, that might not be good for you, but that's the thing about sensitivity, guys. Me telling you my sensitivity is like telling you who my doctor is. It's kind of irrelevant. Like, you don't really care about that because it's completely different for you. My doctor that diagnosed me with something like Crohn's disease, I mean, if you don't have Crohn's disease, you don't need to see that doctor. So unless we both have Crohn's disease, I can't. This is a bad analogy, so I'm gonna just move on. But you get the idea, though. And sensitivity it's all about personal preference. It's all about you, and it doesn't really have anything to do with anybody else. So let's put it that way. But going back to key bindings, which is the whole topic of this video and why it's very important, because you need to get away from situations like the thing you just saw. I've had that happen a bunch of times in games where I don't put my stuff correctly, and I have buttons that are all over the map and in places where they really shouldn't be, that are not convenient for me, and I get myself killed. That's happened in at least 5 games I could probably name you right now, but it's probably every major FPS I've played in the last year. So talking about key bindings, talking about what kind of key bindings you should have, I'm going to completely recommend this right now. If you do not have a mouse that has extra buttons on it, you gotta get one. It is like night and day, guys. If you can get something like a Death Adder, like the Razer Death Adder, it's what I use. Or really any mouse that has buttons on it, as long as it's not one of those crazy mice that has like 30 buttons on. I don't know how people use those. They just get in my head and I get a headache from looking at them. But if you have at least 2 or 3 buttons on your mouse, near your thumb or near your ring finger or something like that, it can change your whole gaming world. Specifically in TF2, my thumb, where my hand sits, my first button on my mouse is for melee. That's to switch to melee. And the bottom button on my mouse is to pull up the disguise menu. It's specifically set there for spy. Middle mouse button for me is to switch between 2 different weapons, previous and the next. So what this does is this frees up my left hand from having to hit something like Q or E or R or like 3 or 4. It lets me keep my hand on WASD and my thumb on space, and I don't have to move it. I have all total control over those weird situational things with my thumb on my right hand. It is completely and totally unbelievable. I highly recommend it, guys. You will get so used to it. And anything from MMOs to MOBAs, having those extra buttons to map to certain things really helps you be a lot less clunky and clumsy in a lot of situations where you would have been clumsy and clunky. Just from changing over, I've been using the same mouse for over a year now, but before I used to use it, my key bindings were so screwy-looey. I'd have my, like, F key and R and T for certain things. Now it's just all on my right hand. I don't gotta worry about it. It's just right there. Click, click. I can click it, does it everything I want it to, and I highly recommend it. So before this video ends, I want to bring up one more time and reiterate it. Check your key bindings. Make sure they're in a very convenient place for you. Make sure everything, every key is either unbound or you have it set to exactly where you want it. And do something like the concise spy menu, which is what I changed to after this video, believe it or not, and stuff like that. But really just research your game and find out what works for you and just get yourself in the keybind mindset. But that's going to wrap up the video, guys. Thank you so much for watching. I really do appreciate it. And I'll see you guys all soon. And of course, take care, everybody.